empty cup. Just crack a smile and fill it up. Fill it up.
After the final pour, and it's after the final pour from the malting hour. Yeah, there it is. That's the.
Wait, no. Stop.
Oh wait, it's a full episode now.
Stop.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, it's
Jesus!
going again,
Just stop
and it
everything.
won't stop. Oh boy, soundboard. Come on. I'm one of the hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
and it is after the final pour. And Brandon, what are we? I'm gonna hand it to you. Hold on.
In case I
What?
forgot.
Yeah. What are we drinking today?
Tonight we are drinking On and On, the collaboration between Half Acre and Revolution Brewing. And it is an Imperial Rye Porter aged in bourbon barrels.
I like Burbo barrels.
Burble barrels.
Burble. Purple. Purple barrels.
Yeah, and it was released by Rev. Did Half Acre do a release? I don't think they did.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
It was just their collab.
Yeah.
So I've had this before. You have not.
I have not.
And we decided, looking in your full disclosure, you and I have just left a brewery.
We did.
We just had some samples. We didn't do full pours or anything, so we maybe had the equivalent of a beer and a half.
Yeah. If that.
Oh, we've got
And a cat.
Oh yeah, my favorite. So in true after the final pour fashion, we decided that we'd come back to the Malting Hour Studios and crack something open. And while we had our pick of what Brandon had in his cellar, we decided to go with this because we're keeping it local. What better local beer to have than a collaboration between Revolution and Half Acre, which is the On and On Imperial Porter aged in rye. Is it rye bourbon? Right? A rye bourbon barrel stout?
It is bourbon barrels. Just bourbon barrels. It's a rye porter aged in bourbon
rye
barrels.
porter. So I've had this. I have my own opinion on it. Brandon, it's your first time having it, so I'd like to know what you... Oops, sorry, I'm dropping caps. What you think about it.
It's fantastic. It's very well balanced.
Balance is my favorite word.
I don't... So I don't have much experience with drinking rye porters,
Yeah.
I guess. So that's where I'm lacking. But it's lending more to like a bourbon barrel aged stout.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that's probably what they were going for. Again, because I don't get the rye characteristic. I don't get porter characteristic. I get a deep malty flavor. And I get the bourbon barrel comes through like phenomenally. And like drinking it, you know, I say this with a lot of beers, but I'm like, there's a little bit of booziness on this, and it's 14%. So I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Like, it carries that booziness well. So
Yeah, I felt the same way the first time I had it, that there was this, like, warmth, kind of like warm booziness to it. It's sweet. Mm-hmm. It's not overly sweet. And an Imperial Porter, I think, is an interesting approach to a barrel-aged beer. Mainly because I feel like if you're going to do a barrel-aged beer, just maybe do a stout. You know what I mean? Like, not just do a stout, but it's interesting to do a porter instead of a stout.
But I feel like we've had this conversation before. Like, you have a porter, you do an Imperial Porter. At what level
point?
does it become an actual stout?
Right, exactly.
Like, because the grain bill is so similar. Like, when are you actually just making a stout?
Like, isn't an Imperial Porter just a stout?
Probably.
But looking at this, when you take a look, it's got like a cola look to it when you put it in the light, and it's not a heavy body. You know, if you compare this to the other barrel-aged Rev dark beers, it's nothing like it.
Yeah, the mouthfeel is definitely thinner on this. I will say that. And I think, and attribute to Rev and how they do things, like the barrel characteristics come through like phenomenally. But just like, yeah, like we've talked about, like, I can't distinguish, like, and again, I guess it's because I've never had a rye porter.
Sure. Well, I guess we're brewing
How
that
is this?
next.
Yeah, so maybe that's what we need to do. Where's the line of like, is this like just like a light stout? But again, like we said, the color characteristics are very porter like.
Yeah.
It's got a nice kind of reddish cola hue. Yeah, I mean, regardless of all of that, it's an easy. I don't want to say easy drinking, but like
For those who
a nice sipper.
Yeah, it's easy drinking. That it's not. Even though we said it's kind of warm and boozy, it is a somewhat approachable, easy drinking barrel aged beer for those who are versed, if you will, in barrel aged beer.
Yes.
And drinking barrel aged beers. Words, they're tough. Yeah, I really like this. I think it's very unique. And I know we were going on and on a little bit, on and on, on and on about the difference between, an imperial porter and a stout. What's the difference? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. This is a very tasty beer. It's roasty, it's robust. There's coffee, a bit of chocolate. There's the rye for sure. There is that spiciness, and we're having this at maybe a little bit warmer than. It's been warm lately.
Yeah.
But your cellar stays pretty cool. But the room temperature of it is probably in the upper 50s.
Yeah.
But it's so tasty. It's very good. I appreciate you sharing this with
Agreed.
me. I'm glad that I got a chance to have this again, because I was worried I would never have it again. I know Clark, we featured it in our Friday feature. He's had the cognac barrel aged version of this, which was just a very limited tap room release that Revolution did of it. I wish I got a chance to try that, but I'm not a huge cognac fan to begin with, so I don't know if I would like it or not, but this one I love.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope they isn't it a part 1?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm looking at the can. It says part 1, so I am very curious to see what part 2 brings about.
Yeah, but the way that they release all the barrel aged stuff, I mean, we're recording this the beginning of July. I don't know when this is going to be released, but the like midsummer barrel aged beers from the Deepwood series of Revolution is about to be released, which is very special old jacket, strawberry jacket, and supermassive cafe death. So if this
Yes.
becomes like a January, February release for them, the On and On with Half Acre, or if it's an On and On with, another brewery type of collaboration, that's exciting. That'd be a lot of fun. So hopefully we get to see an On and On part 2. And maybe that's the play on the words there. That's just an on and on thing of just constant collaboration.
Yeah, maybe they're just taking this beer and then they throw it into something else. And then that gets thrown into something else, and else.
That gets thrown into something else.
And it goes on and on and on. I mean, the name would make sense.
Yeah, totally. So I hope that's, something like that's the case.
Agreed.
But, man, it's a really good beer. If anybody, you're holding on to it, crack it open, give it a try. I would suspect that it would age somewhat well. But with it being a thinner body and kind of a mouthfeel, I would imagine that the beer itself would kind of drop off a bit, where it would just be more barrel and sweetness than anything.
Agreed.
But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks Half Acre and Revolution for making a beer like this.
Yeah, you guys did an awesome job. This is a damn tasty beer.
I know you have more, so I'm going to drink those with you.
and we will. And we will.
Well, now we don't have to do it after. We don't have to do it after final pour.
That's right.
After the final pour.
That is correct.
I don't know if I need any more beer after this. This is it. Well, Brandon, I love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us on social media platforms individually. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, on Untapped, BDub Drinks Beer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Asa Phelps Chicago. On Twitter, The Asa Phelps Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.